Welcome to the Self-Awareness and Self-Compassion Podcast, formerly known as the Full Spectrum Feeling Podcast. I'm your host, Blaise Schwaller, life coach, mom, and former tattoo artist. I help people heal their past, speak their truth, and love the lives that they're living now. Join me here every week for conversations on how to live an imperfect but fully engaged life that embraces all the feels so that you can stretch into your best life while enjoying the you that's here right now. Hello friends, this is Blaise with Full Spectrum Feeling. This week, we're going to talk about disappointment. The dreaded disappointment, hearing news that you didn't want to hear, getting a quote that's way too high and not what you wanted to hear, getting told no, someone doesn't want to do what you want, losing something, not enjoying something that you thought you were going to enjoy. Like, these are all experiences that we all have, not all the time, but frequently enough. I think they really round out our lives, and we do define ourselves by the things that we have been disappointed by, or that we felt that we lost, or that didn't happen for us. We all have some story about something that we thought was going to happen, a relationship that we thought was going to go a certain way, the thing that we really wanted, and then it doesn't happen. Or we got the thing we wanted and it turned out it sucked and we didn't like it at all. And oh my gosh. Yeah, how do we deal with that crushing feeling? It's just tough. It's just tough. So I know I talked a few weeks ago about my daughter and how she was really disappointed that I wouldn't share my toy with her. I was like, it's the one stuffed animal thing that I still have that I like. I've given you everything else because I just don't care that much about stuff. But this one I'm keeping. And she was very disappointed about that. And for me recently, we've been getting quotes and figuring out how to get a geothermal system, just fixing stuff in the house. And it was all going great. And then we got a reassessment and it's going to cost more money. And we're like, there's my instantaneous, like, what the hell is this? Like, how can I make it not be true? What's going on? I need to understand what's going on. Oh, goodness. Disappointment. How do we handle it? And there's a few ways that it goes. And one that I've noticed is that there's the tendency to want to shoot ourselves in the foot and just take away all the good things in order to spite the bad thing that happened. So in the instance of my daughter, it was like, fine, if you don't want to give it to me, I'm just going to be upset and throw it and not even have it, even though I want it. And also curse you and your name and everything about you because you don't love me. And then for me with this quote being annoying, there's I don't know, should we go forward anyway, even though it's long term? Of course, it's a good decision either way. Like, this, relatively speaking, is a pittance. And yet I don't want to be told that it has to cost more. And I don't understand why. And worrying, how will I make this okay? Like, there's that. There is also, the negotiation phase. What can I do to get what I want anyway? With my daughter and the toy, it was, can I trade you my toy? What can I do? How about if I just have it sometimes and then give it back to you? But I mostly have it. With the heating system, I'm like, okay, what can we flip around or change so that we still only pay the price we get, but we also get everything we wanted? And also, can you throw in this other thing? The negotiation. And it takes us a while to get to acceptance, which is something happened that I didn't like, and it's probably going to be okay. What do I actually want to do? Can I live with the change? Can I live without the thing? Can I live with the additional expense or whatever it's going to be? Do I want to? That's also the option, and it's where we'd like to arrive faster, but it's hard for us. Like, we're human. We get triggered really fast by stuff that we weren't expecting. And in my mind, it's almost hilarious that we expect so often for everything to go our way. Like, we just don't expect to be disappointed. Oh, well, that's a lie. A lot of us expect to be disappointed. That's a whole other thing. And yet we still want it all to work out. And we are angry. We feel like it's unjust that things don't happen the way we want all the time. And we don't even know what might be better. That's something that I'm learning. I'm considering about this. So, project change comes up. I'm like, well, what if it's actually better? What if the reason that it's like this really is like someone else is an expert and knows better than me. Well, of course they do. Come on, please. Like, I don't know anything about this stuff. I think we have fear, like the fear comes up, like, what if someone's taking advantage of me and I don't understand? Why are they doing this? I need to understand. And I definitely am going through that myself, where I'm like, explain yourself. I want every detail of every part of this plan about why the money changed. Why did this happen? And it comes down to fear. I think there's always an underlying fear when we're disappointed that either someone isn't giving us what we want because there's something about us that isn't worthy. There's a fear that someone's trying to get away with something and take advantage of us in some way and we're unaware of it, or it's going to hurt us. There's fear of harm. There's fear of loss. Yeah, I think that's what everything has in common there, is the fear that someone is taking advantage or taking away something from us, taking away love, taking away care, making our lives more difficult. But I don't think that's really true. I don't think at all that people are really out there trying to gouge us for everything we're worth and ruin our lives. Like, that's not, who has time for that, really? I think if that's the case, it's probably a very rare case. Most of us are so busy fumbling through life, just trying to make life make sense, that our intention is never to just go out and steal from other people or hurt them. We're just trying to survive. So here we are, surviving, dealing with disappointment and hurt feelings. And dealing with disappointment means being with ourselves and providing ourselves the comfort that we're not getting from somewhere else. Often what we're doing is we're looking to somewhere else or someone else or something else to provide a level of comfort and care and kindness to give us a happier feeling. And then when that doesn't come through, there's the disappointment, there's the heart stops for a second. It's like, oh no, something bad is happening. There's the sinking feeling in the stomach, like, oh, we've lost something. Then there's like the fear, like maybe we need to really fight or do something to get it back. What if we can't survive without the thing that we thought we had? It's just really hard. Oh man, life is hard. So being there for yourself in that moment, we do it in different ways. I think sometimes we look to outside sources again to just fill up that area and make it feel better. So it might be food or alcohol or anything, or just relationships, hugs. But where can we find it the best? And I think and suspect that it's always going to come from within ourselves. How can I give myself the comfort that I wanted to hear, that I need to know, that it's all going to be okay? Can I tell myself that and actually feel that and trust? I guess that's it. Can I trust myself that it is going to be okay, that I am going to be okay no matter what happens, whether I got what I wanted the way I wanted, or it changed, or I'm never going to get what I thought I wanted? How is it going to be okay? And the way that I do this is look for past evidence. So I'll look at my life in review and go, remember that time when you thought you really wanted, I don't know, to marry that guy, to be in that relationship, to get that car, whatever. And then you didn't get that, and it was the worst thing in the world, and you thought it was terrible, and you were sad forever. But then look what happened. You ended up meeting amazing people, creating an incredible business, having a whole different career path, moving to a different area. Like, there's hundreds of people, thousands of people you wouldn't have met, experiences you never would have had, the relationship and love of your life like you wouldn't have met if you hadn't had that crappy experience that you thought was destroying everything and taking away all of your happiness. So when I look at things in the grand perspective like that, it's easier for me to look at like, oh yeah, okay, so you got a quote that made you a little sad about a thing that you decided you wanted that you don't need. Well, how much do you want it? Is that okay? You're going to be okay. Whether you say yes or no to the project, it's going to be fine. How do you want to come up with the extra money? Or do you want to? Those are your choices. You can say no and walk away now, or you can figure out if you still want it, even if it costs a little more, and decide how you feel about that. And that actually feels very empowering. And like I do have a choice again. I think that's a lot of what we want when we're disappointed, is to feel like we still have a choice and some say in the matter, because it feels like our ability to have a choice got taken away. It's like reintroducing how we can still choose. Yeah. And comforting ourselves can also look like giving ourselves that inner hug. I think of it as having a conversation with little me, little Blaze in my heart, who is feeling scared and sad and stressed and like everything is wrong and people don't care and they don't understand and they're asking too much. And talking to that part of me and going, it really does feel that way. And of course it's scary. But you know what? We're pretty damn tough and we can figure a lot of things out. So what would we like to figure out? And refocus. And I think so much in life does well when we pivot to a focus that feels better. Once we're feeling better, I guess it doesn't matter so much, does it? That's usually what we're looking for, is to feel better. It's not. I think that's why we want control so much. We want to control where we're going so that we can feel good. But I'm recognizing more and more in life, like, disappointments happen. We're going to get disappointed. We cannot control everything. The thing we can control is how we react to it. And that doesn't mean that we have to be a doormat for bad things to happen or for people to take advantage of us. It's about giving ourselves the choice in what we would rather focus on next, or what we're going to do to still get what we want, if it's worth fighting for, choosing our battles, and really celebrating how tough we are and how we can make those choices and we do have those victories. It's pretty awesome. So, how can you support yourself through disappointment, through challenges, through things that just make you shake your head or go, why the heck did that have to happen? This is not what I hoped was going to happen. And I try to ask myself a question, which is, how is this going to lead to something awesome? And I can concede to myself that I don't necessarily know. I don't know how it's going to lead to something awesome. But again, if I look back at the grand scheme of my life, most bad things have then led to other good things that couldn't have happened any other way. So I can just say, you know what, Blaze, I'm going to trust that even though this sucks and I'm not enjoying this, there's definitely something about it that I don't know and I can trust is going to turn out better because of this. So I'm going to keep my eye open for what that is. And in the meantime, let's come up with a plan. What are we going to do about this? Do we want to just mourn it and be sad and move on? Do we want to fight for it? Are we just going to accept that things are a little different and adjust? Those are all of our options. That's the options that we get. We don't get much more than that. To be human. It's so simple and so hard. May your disappointments not be too terrible. I guess that's what I want to say. I hope that nothing too terribly disappointing has happened. But if it has, if you're going through something devastating, something awful, be there for yourself. Be there for the part that just is not having a good time and didn't want to deal with it and wasn't prepared for this, didn't want to face this kind of loss, doesn't know what to do. And from there, open yourself to trusting yourself to find the support that you need and the new direction and pivot, the people that can be there for you, the new thing that can come in and help support that space that's in there. Because, like when we're disappointed, we had a space laid out for something and then that got taken away and now that space is empty and it doesn't feel good. And sometimes it doesn't feel right to fill that space in, and that's okay too. So it's accepting that's how it is. That's how it is now. And what are we going to build around that space? Honoring that space or just modifying it. That's our life. It's a progression. It's always a spiral. May you be kind to yourself this week, my friends. May you understand yourself a little deeper and love yourself a little bit more. And I am wishing you, as always, a wonderful weekend and to have space for all of your emotions, all of the way you feel, because all of it is perfect and all of it is right. I'll see you next week. Thanks so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and share it with someone you love, and leave us a review. You can learn more and get some self-compassion tips and tricks by visiting coachwithblaze.com, where you can sign up to get my free booklet on overcoming anxiety, overwhelm, exhaustion, and burnout. I'm sending you so much appreciation and love, and I'll see you next time.